how do you get women to take interest in this league? Is it possible to get enough women interested in this league to push it to profitability?
I can't think of a thing.
Oh,
Do-
not.
Hey, what's happening? It's your man Wise, and welcome to A Righteous Perspective. We got a live show. I have a great panel of guests joining the show today. But before we do that, thank you to each and every one of you guys that has joined the ARP family. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And so we're going to discuss the WNBA. I'm going to bring some of the ladies on real fast. And hey, River, how you doing? Right,
Hi,
left,
I'm
and center
doing
in the
great.
building. All right, Linda B, how you doing today?
Hi, everyone.
All right.
My political channel is called Right, Left of Center. So if you'd like to check me out over there, that'd be great.
Chat with me, Linda B. Political commentary from a Christian conservative perspective.
Outstanding. Yeah, so we're going to discuss a little WNBA. There's a video I found from BCP I wanted to talk about and have the ladies and discuss, their thoughts on this whole Caitlin Clark. I don't know if you want to call it a debacle or is it just, the hate, that this young lady is receiving since she's joined the WNBA. We're also going to watch a clip from Joy Reid and Jemele Hill. We'll start with the clip from Jemele Hill.
Somebody very smart said to me recently that the challenge with women's basketball is that most of the stars are black, but most of the great players are black, but most of the stars are white, whether it's who's getting awarded by the ESPN, whether who's getting noticed by the magazines. And like you said, if there were charter flights, Brittany Griner would not have ended up in a gulag, right? These ladies are flying commercial and they're not treated as like the men are. How much of this do you think, though, is the marketing potential of a Caitlin Clark? Because quite frankly, this is a league that is largely, as you said, largely black women. It's also largely LGBTQ.
I got to stop it real fast. She did not get arrested because they didn't have chartered jets. Like, come on, man. It's such a disingenuous conversation there. A disingenuous point for her to bring up. It's so ridiculous.
That's Joy Reid.
That is Joy Reid for you, though. Let's keep it going.
She's a white heterosexual woman. And so if you're trying to get white dads to go spend their money and buy season tickets, she seems like a marketing opportunity. How much of it is that?
I don't know why people find that to be controversial to think about that. I mean, we know that marketing is about ability, talent, all those things. And nobody's saying that Caitlin Clark doesn't have those things. It's like she's incredibly talented. She's broken record. She's playing a playing style that people love, that is very representative of what we see today, particularly on the men's side. But yes, it helps that she's white, straight in from Iowa, in a league that has faced marketing challenges throughout the history over the last 3 decades that it's been in existence. It's faced marketing challenges because of the things that you mentioned, because 70% of the players are black women, because a third of them identify as LGBTQ+. Yes, it has faced challenges. And by the way, the NBA went through the same thing. Before Magic and Bird arrived and took the NBA Finals off tape delay, the NBA was in a very vulnerable spot. It was a black-led league. There were drug problems. There were a lot of issues. And then you fast forward to the 90s and the 2000s where there was the merge with hip-hop, right? That's how you got the dress code, because you had the same issue. You had a predominantly black league that had white fans.
Okay, we'll start with you, River. What are your thoughts? What comes to mind, first thing that pops into your mind when you hear the argument that Joy Reid made, but then the rebuttal from Jemele Hill?
Oh, well, it's just more race baiting that nobody wants to hear anymore. I'm so sick of it. Look, it's my fault the NBA or the WNBA failed because I didn't watch it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm trying to figure out what pirate site I can go watch Bridgerton on at this point. I don't do sports ball. And most women don't. We're just not into it. I mean, it might be one thing if you grew up with 67 brothers, or maybe you had a husband who's really into it, but most women don't care about this stuff.
That is true. There's a lot of people, people in the comment section. There are people that have mentioned, I watched Jason Whitlock do this, and they talked about, how these two ladies, especially, Joy Reid with, Trump's hair, on top of her head and just, going in on her about that. But the race baiting is what really gets me. And then she had mentioned something in her interview with BG that she was a super minority. I did not know that there was a such thing as a super minority. What are your thoughts on that, Linda B?
On BG, huh? Would you be referring to Brittany Griner? Well, a super minority. Let me see. Well, I'm thinking about that video that I just pushed out that River is familiar with. I don't know how to address that question, quite honestly, because there's some controversy over, is Brittany a female?
Mm.
My video is like, she's a man? And in my video, I'm really saying I don't know for sure, but almost everybody in the comments was like, that is a man, period. That is a man. Come on, are we really having this conversation? That is the man. I knew that when she first came into the league and I first heard her talk. So, or him talk. I don't know what to say. But yeah, super minority, I guess they could be referring to the fact that this person is a different kind of person, is what I just mentioned. And
what are your thoughts on, them saying that no one supported the WNBA because, it's a league that's majority Black. It's a league that's, I think, 1/3 or so alphabet community. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't feel that's the case, though. I don't feel like it's because they're Black. I feel like because the game is not on the level of the NBA. That's what I've tried to watch, the WNBA. And for me, it's not as entertaining. I don't feel like it's because the women are Black. I feel like this is another victimhood situation going on, as people on the left like to do. They like to race bait. They like to be the victim. Oh, it's because I'm Black. Oh, it's because I'm a female. Oh, it's because I'm gay. It's always something with them. When you look at it, it could be other things as far as the play, the level of play.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think when people when people watch sports, especially what is considered professional sports, people want to watch the best of the best. So when, if I'm going to watch basketball, the preference is would prefer to watch the NBA. Now, I would go to a high school game and watch some boys high school over, maybe the WNBA, to be honest with you. Although since Caitlin Clark has come to the league and just watching her in college, I enjoyed watching her game in college because she has brought something that's slightly unique to the game, just in her style of play, in my opinion. Give me 1 second. I want to bring Celeste in, and then I also want to kick to the next clip. Hey, Celeste, how you doing today?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Celeste.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, my channel is just my name, Celeste Duffy. I'm sort of a new channel, so I'd love it if you guys would come and check me out, check out the videos that I'm dropping. Love to see you over there.
I love the term super minority. I'm pretty sure that means they have the superpower to fly off of buildings in the Middle East. I think that's what that means.
I never heard that term before. Super minority. I've never heard that before.
Never,
wow.
ever.
No matter what you do or what is done to you, it becomes a topic nationally. And a lot of times it becomes divisive. I wonder from your standpoint how you feel about people using your name in whatever culture wars or whatever wars they're fighting. How do you feel about that?
It's not something I can control, so I don't put too much thought and time into thinking about things like that. And to be honest, I don't see a lot of it. Like I've said, basketball is my job. Everything on the outside, I can't control that, so I'm not going to spend time thinking about that. People can talk about what they want to talk about, create conversations about whatever it is. But I think for myself, I'm just here to play basketball. I'm here to have fun. I'm trying to help our team win. Obviously, we've won 3 games, and we feel like we've been in a position to win a few more than that. And my focus is on helping us do that. But I don't pay much mind to all of that, to be honest.
You will never not be able to convince me that the same fans and fandom of Caitlin Clark are also the same fans of Donald Trump. The voters, the fans are the same. Because neither of them care about facts, reality, or what they are seeing with their own 2 eyes.
River, I know you have something to say. Go. I know you do.
No, this lady is just killing me. First of all, I love how humble and normal and sane that Caitlin Clark is, and then you contrast it with this TDS to the extreme take. She's just reading all kinds of things into there that just don't exist. This lady is far off the reservation.
I would agree with you 100%. I don't understand how she tied in people wanting to watch Caitlin Clark to those that support Donald Trump. I do not understand for the life of me how she made that correlation.
I don't either.
Makes absolutely no sense. But we'll get you in there, Celeste. I know you had something.
First of all, I would like to say that her makeup is fantastic. So we can start with that. I can always appreciate someone who's looking good and trying to look good. However, I think that what's really happening, we're seeing, I did a video on my channel on Caitlin Clark maybe a week and a half ago. And one of the things I think that we're definitely seeing is that there is a Caitlin Clark apparently is being viewed as a threat to Black girl magic. So I think white excellence has come in and has shown the spotlight on Black girl magic, and the Black girl magic isn't looking as good. It's dimming under the spotlight of the white excellence, and I think that has a lot to do with why they are so inexplicably, because when you hear the ball players themselves, the coaches, the people sort of in and around the actual game try to talk about Caitlin Clark, they all sound befuddled. Yes, she's a great player, but everything's wrong with her. it's basically what they're saying. So they don't really have a way to explain why there's such vitriol and why they have such vitriol towards her. And they try to justify it. Well, this is sports, this athleticism. The game is tough, it's hard. It's okay to get bumped and thrown to the ground. Look what happened to this one and that one, back in the day or whenever. So they have all of these feelings and they're enacting this behavior, which like the Black young lady said, people can see with their own eyes. So it is, in fact, reality. And when they go to find out why this is happening, this is where the dichotomy comes in, because these women can't explain why they are behaving as badly towards Caitlin Clark as they are. And again, I think it's because they are people that have had a league as poor, and I mean that financially and spiritually, as poor as the WNBA is, it was just them, and they apparently didn't have any white players who threatened the idea of the Black girl magic. This one apparently has.
Yes.
Before we get into the clip, go ahead, Linda B. I know you had something.
I'm sorry.
Go for it.
And I'm going to agree with you, Celeste, 100%. But what it all boils down to, plain and simple, is jealousy. I believe it is jealousy. I just think that's all it is. That's why they can't really say, and it's all going around the mulberry bush. Is this, is that, it's really about this. No, you're jealous. Okay, because the little girls are not running up to you after the game asking for your autograph. You're jealous because you don't have those millions of dollars in endorsements. You're jealous because they're not wearing your number. That is the reason.
Let's keep the clip going. Now, this is a clip that I got from Greg over at Black Conservative Perspective. Man, that dude does great work. And we're going to play a little bit more of it, and then I want to kick over to the article that I have here.
Happening. But I could be wrong. I'm not, though. But I'm here for a discussion. Prove me wrong.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about the WNBA, a.k.a. the Welfare National Basketball Association, because quite...
I love that. The Welfare National Basketball Association. Oh, my goodness.
Literally, this league is on welfare, okay? If they weren't on welfare, then the league would fold and there would be no women's basketball. And that is basically what has been revealed in this bombshell report about the WNBA being on track to lose roughly $50 million this year. $50 million, which is significantly more than the WNBA had been losing on a yearly basis in the past. Now, again, this is a little bit surprising because of the explosion in popularity of the WNBA due to Caitlin Clark, okay? But once we get into the details, it's not really all that surprising. But at the same time, reports like this kind of drive home the point that reasonable people have been trying to make about the WNBA, which is that without Caitlin Clark, they would have no fans. And I think that a lot of people are forgetting the fact that just, again, a few years ago, before Caitlin Clark was in the league, this is what it looked like at a WNBA championship parade.
Nobody showed up. It's like hardly no one there for a championship parade. Okay, just a couple little things I want to read to you guys, from this article. This is an article I found from The Blaze. Andrew Chapados, I believe is how you pronounce his name, and my apologies if I butchered it. But it says here, the WNBA expected to lose $50 million despite popularity. League is hard-pressed to exist without the NBA, executive says. In another little small clip here, it says the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, said that in 2018, the WNBA typically loses $10 million annually. Goodness gracious. That's crazy. $10 million annually. This league has been in existence for, I believe, 27 years, and they've lost $10 million a year. It says that despite the league's wall-to-wall coverage, it will still lose $50 million in 2024. With the Basketball Association reportedly taking in between $180 million and $200 million the previous season. It is still just a fraction of the $10 billion earned by the NBA. Given that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said that in 2018, WNBA loses $10 million a year, that would amount to at least $200 million and upwards of $260 million in losses dating back to its inception of 1997. That is crazy. Name me a business that has been able to operate at a deficit for 27 years? Is that 23 years? No, 27 years. Name a business that can operate at a deficit for more than 2 to 3 years.
I can't. That's a long time.
I know you got something, Celeste. Go ahead.
Oh God. So I did the math. Yeah, it's 270 million over 27 years. And I am, I'm to the point of oh God, his name Thomas Sowell, who says that what you subsidize, you get more of. And I've been really thinking a lot about why it is corporations are so interested in subsidizing failure. So you can look at Disney and all of these so-called woke movies. It doesn't matter how poorly they do, they put another one out. CNN could have 3 people watching it. Doesn't matter how much they lose in the ratings, they're still on the air. The WNBA now for 27 years has never once turned a thin nickel in profit. And they're still out bouncing a ball. And I'm saying to myself, okay, if this is a 501c3, if this is Shriners and the children, or even the dogs that they in the arms of an angel, even the dogs that they're saving, I can understand that. You just want to give because, you have some compassionate, sort of vulnerable, either children or animals or something, and corporations to say, well, let's write the check. Well, we could take this as a tax expense. However, more and more, I'm starting to think that what these people are being paid for is not at all what it looks like. I don't think Disney's paying their actors for movies. I don't think CNN is paying their personalities for news. And I'm starting to believe the WNBA is not playing for basketball. And I'm wondering if what they are doing is actually laundering money for messaging. And if that is the case, If they are laundering the money for messaging, then what message would the players of the WNBA send? Well, they're an excellent example of socialism, because that's exactly what their league is. They don't have a profit. They all work in cooperation. They produce nothing, and they all receive a salary. And that is exactly a very socialist model. It certainly isn't a capitalist model. So maybe what they're really being paid for is not their skills on the court, but just so that they can continue to survive, so that they can be an example of how great it is when you underwrite something that's failing, and how happy people can be when you underwrite something that's failing. They said you would own nothing and like it. Maybe this is what they're talking about.
It's highly probable. The losses are being exacerbated because they decided to give these women charter flights. And if you know anything about charter flights, it's extremely expensive. And they don't make the money. They don't earn the revenue to cover an additional expense. They were not even covering their current expenses. And now they've whined, boo-hooed, cried for charter flights. And now they've basically exacerbated their losses. I don't see a way that they recover from those losses. I just don't see a way. I mean, at this point with the 50 million, now you're talking, what is that? What, $320 million in losses over a 28-year time span?
It's crazy.
That's crazy to me. But I will say this. It is a welfare league, but the NBA subsidizing this, and I thought about this earlier today when I was, kind of trying to put this together. I think the NBA continues to subsidize this. One, to piggyback off what you said, Celeste, is to push an agenda, or to help push an agenda. But the other aspect of it too is this is a huge tax write-off for the men's league. This is a huge tax write-off for every owner because you do understand that if you own an NBA team, they force you to buy. They forced everybody to buy the WNBA team. That's part of that. That's part of that market. So when Phoenix Suns went for sale a couple years back, their owner was forced to sell it. The people or the group, more or less, that bought the Phoenix Suns, they were forced to buy the Phoenix Mercury. They didn't want the Phoenix Mercury. They just wanted the Suns, but they were forced to buy the Mercury. So, but it was probably sold as, hey, they're going to lose money every year. That's a large chunk of change that can be written off every year. You're going to pay taxes in some shape, way, form, or fashion. Maybe they're just looking at it like, hey, we'd rather give it to them and we can keep the league going, opposed to, give it to Uncle Sam. We'll kick it to you, River. What are your thoughts?
I think that there is a way to save it, but you have to change it into something that men would actually want to watch, because women just really aren't into this. And so when I think about the sports that men like, they like women's volleyball, and there's a reason for that. The women are beautiful, they're toned, they're feminine, they're wearing skimpy outfits. So even if you had players that weren't as good, but they were models, and maybe they didn't have these, unflattering uniforms on, they had something pretty, even with a lesser caliber of player, they would like it. I mean, look at the lingerie bowl that they do. It's just women playing football very poorly, but they look great doing it.
Yeah, true. What are your thoughts, Linda?
I guess I can go with what River is saying. It would be nice if they could just get better players. I think that would help, and capitalize on the players that are marketable, like Caitlin Clark. Just really capitalize on that. Like, let her be on the Olympic team. Take every opportunity to market her. She is bringing in, more ticket sales. So anytime you get a player like that, fully capitalize on it.
Absolutely. I mean, when Caitlin Clark plays, she generates 3 times the attendance when she plays.
She's insert great shooter.
Clark from the logo.
Average attendance, I believe it was somewhere around about 5,000 or 6,000. When she shows up, they get 16,000 to 17,000 people, in the arena. That's a little
increased
over 3 times. That's a little over 3x.
Yeah.
You capitalize on that. Someone else that's a draw is Angel Reese.
Mhm.
And the WNBA, very similar to what Jamel Hill brought up when Bird Magic came to the NBA. I don't know how familiar you guys are with that situation, but the NBA was fledgling. They were playing the NBA finals. It was on tape delay. It wasn't making a lot of money at that time, but they latched on to that Bird Magic rivalry from college, and they played that up into the league to help boost attention to the league. And people don't want to hear this, but it may have been rigged, that they made sure that Magic went to LA and they made sure that Bird went to the Celtics, two of the most, famous, franchises in all of NBA.
Basketball
And
rivalry.
they made sure that happened. They did everything that they could to make sure that they market this properly. So much so that these dudes are still tied together to this day. They had video games. They had shoes. I don't know if you guys recall the video game they had, Bird versus Magic. The WNBA was gifted a Bird Magic situation. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Both attractive women. Both can play pretty well. One's a national champion. One's been, national player of the year. She's what she has more points than any other, woman that's played the game. I think she has the overall record as well, men and women, as far as points scored. Why not capitalize on that? Why not capitalize? You have a golden goose. Then on top of that, not only did they get the Bird Magic in one season, you got someone that came to the league with the same type of fanfare and adulation as an MJ. You got that in one individual, and you got it in one season. Right. And they are fumbling the bag right now. They are fumbling the bag big time, because I hate to say this, but it just seems like there's a lot of cattiness going on. I think Linda mentioned it. There's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of envy that is going on. And because of that, they are going to miss out on their opportunity to really push this league to the forefront. They ask for more eyeballs. They're getting more eyeballs, and they don't know what to do with it.
Especially when you think about that, they have been losing $10 million a year. And now this year is going to be $50 million. That is insane to me.
Well, the crazy thing too is that they're still complaining about the money, that they're not making enough money. Now, listen to this. The highest paid player in the WNBA this year is going to earn $241,000, almost $242,000 this year for 4 to 5 months of work. There's two people that are going to earn that amount of money. Jewel Lloyd out of the Seattle Storm, Kalia Cooper out of Phoenix Mercury, and actually there's three. Arike Ogunbowale, Nigerian name, I'm for certain. They're going to make almost $242,000 for about 4 to 5 months worth of work. What is that? The math wizards, what is that? $50,000 a month or something along those lines? That's nothing to sneeze at. That's the average. They're going to make in a month what the average American makes in an entire year. And they're still complaining for more in a league that doesn't make any money. I got a question for you, Celeste. 2 things that they can do to improve their situation.
Well, I could say, first of all, now that we've discussed the write-off, I'm interested in investing. I too want some of these losses. I'm always looking for something to write off for taxes. So I'm not all that interested in them improving personally. However, for the question, I think what they could do is possibly, to piggyback on what you said, is play up the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark aspect. They could actually even, as you know, I don't know if he still does, but at least at the beginning of the WNBA, Magic Johnson had a financial stake in it. If he was to, sort of pick a side, take one of them under his wing and say, hey, this is my girl, and show them, maybe practicing together or doing some things together, draw that that contrast. That might get Bird out there to do the same. That might do something. I think they could do that, but I think that this whole fanfare around Caitlin Clark and how people are responding to her is giving people a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth, because you're right, they do look catty. Linda B is right, they do look jealous. River is right. I mean, it looks bad, and it makes people say this looks like high school. This looks like Mean Girls, an episode of Mean Girls with basketballs instead of cheerleading or whatever. It looks like Mean Girls, and it's actually not that appealing. And I'm not sure how they could do that, but I would say this: all of this is, as you say, the NBA subsidizes this. This is in the largest, and as a result of the gift of men. And the second these men want this to be finished, it will be. Because all they have to do is say, oh, we're taking back our money until y'all pull this together. And this will end. So all of this is fanfare of two things. Either this is what men want, because like you said, it doesn't matter to them because they're getting the write-off, or they're too weak to step in and say, look, this isn't helping anyone. This isn't doing anything. We actually do want to turn a profit. So let's cut this out and let's play some good, exciting basketball that someone wants to watch. But I suspect they won't do it. And I suspect when you say, I don't know how long this business can last, I think it's going to last. I think that they will continue to do exactly what they're doing. And I don't think they care how much money they're losing.
No, absolutely
I
not.
think they're getting something else.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, River? How can they improve this other than scantily clad uniforms?
Well, that was a good idea. And they can give chicken wings.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's about it, because they can't play on the same caliber as men. I mean, you could go to like a boys' high school basketball game for free and watch a better game. You see, it'll be a faster paced game. It'll be more, you'll see more athleticism. They'll be dunking. It'll be way more exciting. We can't play like men, so you have to play up the feminine attributes. Like, otherwise, it's dull. It's dull for a sport that I don't even like to begin with.
Well, that's the other thing too. How do you get women to take interest in this league? Is it possible to get enough women interested in this league to push it to profitability?
I can't think of a thing.
Oh,
Dude, I got a question. It's three women on this panel here. I wanted to do this. I didn't want to do this conversation, with a bunch of men. I wanted to do this. I wanted to have this conversation with women. River, you've already said it. You don't watch basketball. You don't even watch sports like that. That's not your thing. The other two ladies here. Have you guys ever watched a WNBA game?
No.
I think I have part of one. I can't tell you when.
If somebody were to give you free tickets, would you go to a game?
I would.
You live in DC. They have the Mystic. Would you go to a game if somebody was to give you tickets? They hadn't won a game. Actually, they did just win a game. But
I would go. I would go because I even said on my channel, I'm going to try and support these women more. But it's out of some kind of obligation to the women, not because I really want to go. That's sad to say.
I have a few suggestions, and a few NBA players have brought these suggestions up as well. But the average height in the NBA is about 6'8". That's the average height. The average height in the WNBA, I believe it's about 6'1", 6'2", somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. So why not look at that disparity there in the height and knock the rim down, the difference of that? That's a bit about 6 inches. So instead of the women playing on a 10-foot hoop, they play on a 9.5-foot hoop, maybe even a 9-foot hoop, just so there could be some, above the rim play, something along those lines. And my other idea was to shrink the court just a little bit to help speed up the game. if you make the court smaller, it will make the game appear that it's faster, even though it may not be, but it would make it appear that it's faster. So those are two things, but it's been that's been knocked down a lot. You had a lot of women, so we just play basketball to dunk. I'm like, it's not about that. It's about entertainment value. These women, there's full-fledged, I guess you can't call them highlights. I guess they're lowlights of these women just missing layups, like regular standard layups. Like seriously. Y'all laughing. I'm dead serious. You could go on YouTube and you could find these, I guess they would be considered lowlights of them consistently missing layups and stuff. So I think that would help. That would help as well. But the other thing too is that I hate to say this, but I think it needs to be said. A lot of these women, they're not likable. And I think they do need to just be quiet and play basketball. Stop with the social shot. Yes, Linda. Yes. Just shut up and dribble. Shut up and play basketball. That's my thoughts on it. A lot of these, their league isn't big enough to jump into this social justice warrior movement. It's not, just because when you do that, you're going to turn off half of the people that would potentially watch your game.
That's true.
Take the Michael Jordan mindset where he said, I'm not getting involved, with that politics because, just as Democrats, so does Republicans buy sneakers too. I'm not going to get involved in that. Exactly. So he's played neutral, and everybody loved MJ for that. They could care less what his political affiliations are or what, movements or any of those things that he's for, that people could care less for the most part. No one cares. I don't think people still to this day know who he supports, and no one cares.
No one cares.
So just be quiet and play some basketball, man, and try to make it as entertaining as possible. But they may have already missed the boat with this, with the way they've carried and conducted themselves. They've turned a lot of people off. And then with this the Team USA thing, what are your thoughts on that? Them not, having Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I think both of them should be on that team. And they chose, Brittany Griner. She's on that team. They chose another lady that hadn't played a game this year, or maybe she's only played one game this year. She's on that team. Instead of taking two of the more popular up-and-coming players and putting them on that league to be showcased on the world stage, when they finally have a buzz and people actually having conversations around their league.
I feel like it was a terrible decision. It doesn't make sense. Like I was saying earlier, take advantage of the marketability. You're hurting for money. You want more eyeballs on the game. So you have this gift and you're not taking advantage of the gift. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing they've done has made sense. This is exactly what you don't do when you run a business. You don't keep bleeding money. You make adjustments. And part of it is, they don't want to make those adjustments to the height of the goal. I think those things would be good, the court size, but they're going to complain and say, we can do what men do. We don't need it. We don't need that. We're women. We can do this. I'm woman, hear me roar while no one's watching you. So I thought it was a terrible decision.
River, if you want to have last words, Celeste, we'll give you last words as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say that they should have never put Brittany Griner on that team because Brittany Griner is a national disgrace. Brittany got caught smuggling things that Brittany shouldn't have had into a foreign country. And for that, we traded the merchant of death. Like, how dare these people put this person up on this pedestal and have them representing the country? And then we left a good serviceman over there. Like, what in the world? Left him behind in Russia, and who knows how many people are going to die so that this person can play basketball instead of somebody who is, I'm sure, probably a better scorer, which would be Caitlin Clark. Anyway, the women's basketball, it's no fun. I'm not going to watch it. I suggest you don't either. We just sit back and continue to laugh at everything that's going on. My channel is Right Left of Center. Please check me out.
Well, I just hope we can all get along. I hope that this jealousy subsides and Caitlin Clark can enjoy her WNBA career without all of this foolishness and jealousy that is going on. And hopefully one of them will see this and actually take on some of our ideas. Not that we probably will actually watch a game. I might watch a game. But you all can catch my channel on YouTube, Chat with me, Linda B.
So I am a basketball fan. And as a basketball fan, I am one win away from a Boston Celtics sweep. So I'm very excited about where we are in the NBA at the moment, and have been a basketball fan for years. And no, I've never seen and have no plans, at least at this point, to go to a WNBA game. However, and I agree 100% with River, I'm surprised that somebody's willing to take Brittany Griner out of the country. I wouldn't travel nowhere internationally with her. I'd be like, I'm not going behind enemy lines with you. You can forget that. So, God bless them. People, I'd be like, no, I'll get my own flight. I'm not flying in with her. I don't want to do any of that. So God bless the rest of the Olympic team that's willing to, put their freedom at stake, because, maybe she's learned a lesson, maybe she hasn't, but I don't want to be the trial run. I don't want to be the first time out the gate. Let her go a few times and come back home successfully, and then maybe I'll jump on. I'm not trying to be, your international rebound. No, that doesn't work for me. As far as they're concerned, good luck to the ladies. And I think that what actually often helps people is letting them experience. And this is why two things. Number one, they are not running a business. They are the employees of a business. It is the people who are actually losing the investment. It is their job to change the league, or to do what's necessary to make the league profitable, if it can be made profitable. And I'm not sure that it can, because I don't think that women have the same interest in physicality and competition that men do. I just don't think we're wired that way. Doesn't mean we can't enjoy any of it, but it doesn't look like it's this WNBA. And many of them, I mean, you could look at women's soccer or women's, unless you have a personal connection to it in some way, it's just not our thing. And I don't think we should have to make it our thing because other women are doing it. That, they have the right to go and try and be successful if they can, and certainly wish them luck, but it's not my business to try and help out. I certainly don't, I don't subscribe to that. And I do think that, again, this needs to fall from the players, and the light needs to be shown on the managers and the owners of this league, and ask these people, why are they so content with failure? And if maybe the players had to experience some of the hardships of failure and stop being rewarded with charter flights and other things, no matter how much anybody's losing, they're still winning, not games, but they're winning in terms of perks and other social credits, then maybe if they had to experience some of that and some of the difficulties that come along with that, maybe they on their own would straighten up. But putting the pillow and the mattress underneath them and trying to create a soft landing so that they're never hurt, so that they never have to face what the original young lady talked about, which is actual reality, so that they never have to face that, just means that we are going to continue to see what we've been seeing. And apparently the players, the owners, and everyone else is satisfied with it. So I'm satisfied with it too. I'm Celeste Duffy. I'm on YouTube. Please visit me there.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you ladies for joining the stream. This was a great conversation, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that.